Hello and welcome to the Elevate Show. My name is Mikali Mary, and of course I am not here alone. The one, the only, Benjamin Zulu.
Thank you.
How are you, sir?
Hi, thank you. Glad to be here.
Glad to be here as well.
Oh.
And it's exciting. Today's conversation is one of hope, and you know how those things make me happy.
That's one thing that giving me excitement.
Excitement, because
Yes.
we talk about sad things, we talk about people who have gone through the depths of things, but then the story of being able to be pulled out from that, to get out of that, and to be able to have a new beginning, you know, to find love again after you've lost it, after you've gone through mental health issues, after you've gone through depression, but then unaamka tu siku ingine, yani it's a brand new day.
And you know, that's the art of giving yourself what the world will never give you.
Yes.
There are three things, I don't know whether I mentioned to you, that the world does not want you to have.
Okay. Yes.
You should not tell them,
Yes.
but you should know they hate you when you have it.
Yes.
Happiness, when you look happy, like you.
Yes.
A lot of people just hate, why is she always smiling?
Yeah.
It's happiness.
Yeah.
Number two, they don't want you to have love. If you walk around with your lover and you guys just in your space, people stare, people spit, people are like, it's a spectacle to be in love.
Tunangojea wachane. Yes.
And then money. People don't want to, looking like you're financially free. Now I want to tell you that the fourth thing you should carry that goes with all this.
Yes.
The world does not want you to have a second chance. Once you've lost the happiness, the love, the money, they write you off. They say, who you are Meisha, and they rubber stamp. Because you are a disturbance when you had the joy, the love, and the money. When you appear like you have what has eluded them, you disturb them. When you lose it, yeah, they come to hospital to confirm that you will not actually come back.
Oh no.
Not everybody visiting the hospital wishes you well. Not everybody sending you get well or appearing there online. And that's why we post our problems online thinking we have sympathizers. You have more haters than sympathizers. So
Yeah.
today I'm glad that we are discussing the art of giving yourself the second chance to fall, and they laugh at you and you still rise again. Because sometimes it's not the pain that keeps us down. It's the mockery that we fell down. And the people without who to cheer, they are silent, or they have gone missing in action, or the voices we hear. And somebody said, it's not the jeers of the enemy. It's not the mockery of the enemy. It's the silence of our friends that crushes us.
God,
The
that's
people
so
we
true.
thought, I'm with this one. So
Yes.
that's the silent you're going to hear from everyone who rose. They'll tell you the painful thing was not the knife that stabbed him. It's who held the knife.
Yeah.
It's when I looked when I turned to see the people I fed, the people I supported, the people who depend on me to go to where they got. The people who stepped on me to get to their job. The people depending on my name to build up that business. The people who I put a word for to be recommended. The people I supported and propped up. When I did that, my partner, divorce came, death came, disease came. My money was drowned, job went down, COVID hit me badly, I did not. And then when you are there, forgotten now, you're not in the news anymore. You're not being promoted anymore. You're not even in the company. People are like, hey, and they're happy, you know. Now, suddenly, how do you pick yourself? Today we are giving that science, because before you die, there's always that day to turn around your story. Death is the only deadline.
Yeah.
Death is the only deadline. Everything else, even if it looks red, even if it looks red line, or we've given 2 weeks, oh, you're out, you're not beloved again. All those ones, we can call them Swahili porojo, or mchezo wa town, games at town.
Yes.
Just to say, you can actually give yourself the permission to try again. And I gave you a bad news. For most of us in Africa, we will only find love the second attempt. The first attempt, we are too naive, we trust the wrong people, we are too impulsive. We believe novels and movies more than we believe reality.
Yeah.
And particularly us, the working, the working class. When you have figured out your career, you tend to believe yourself very much. You're a go-getter, you know.
Yeah.
I always figured out things, you know. I figured it out. It's very hard to get a professional doing well in their job to walk to a dating coach. It's very hard.
True.
Very
That's
hard.
true.
It's very hard to get a Mwikali is all well collected. I saw everybody coming to say, ama nikaongelesha counselor. It's not natural.
I mean, I'm with Zulu every day. I'm picking up the nuggets. Niko sawa. You know what I mean? But the truth is I'm not.
The
you know?
average person who needs wisdom does not value it. The difference between your job and your love life is that in your job, your heart and your mind are in unison.
Yeah.
But when it comes to love, your heart and your head are at war. Your heart goes with what feels good. Your head is looking at facts. Your heart is going with the feelings. So you are torn. The facts are saying this way, but it's so nice, but it feels so good, but the feelings go this way. And then number two, the world wants to tear you up. The moment they realize this person is liking you, and both of you may end up making it, the people you did not expect. Was that Mwikali person? You thought let me give you a copy. No, siniseme sawa. Mimi nimekuhurumia tu. So the guy is given a copy of a life that, did I know that girl? And out of conflict, out of naivety, because he cannot read books about gossip and 7 deadly realities that Robert Greene talks about. You know, about how malice and envy and jealousy obsesses people. And they were your friends, girlfriends in singlehood. The moment they hear that you're crossing with a good person, they cannot stand it. No. And we are not saying all the people you have. We are saying frequently it will come from people you did not expect because you used to share your journey together. Just to tell you that we will be hit by the first marriage because it's a condensation of our foolishness, ignorance, and egomaniac. We are just so full of ourselves. We think we know. And because we make money, we'll make the marriage work. You know, I'll figure it out. And if you grew up being cheered for grades and success, you believe in so much that you always figure things out. While most people will learn, I hope most of us will learn prior to and while we are inside. The second mistake our first marriages will always collapse is what the late Bob Collymore said. He had a good marriage, but both him and the wife were full of themselves. He said that one we wasted it because of our... Nobody could say sorry. I'm waiting for you to say sorry first. And so we wait for the fan who will apologize first, and the man that goes. Another man that goes. We are full of ourselves. Even you did that. So to feel the soothing that you humbled yourself. So, we bring ego flex in a good marriage, in a good love. The reason many of us, and I said men marry twice, the same woman, but twice. Most men will...
What? Okay.
Most men behave on the second marriage.
Okay.
Either after they have lost it literally,
which
I hope most of us will spare, or after they have merely lost it. Now, may pay a yellow card. Most men behave when they have a yellow card on their head. The first marriage, they don't fear losing it.
Is all this subconscious? Is it you know, like, is it because you don't want to hear? Is it the ego? What really happens in between? Because I mean, by the time nakupatia yellow card, there were warnings huku before you know.
Exactly. Let me tell you, men don't think when a person loves you, they love you so well, it gets into you.
Ooh, okay. It's an obvious thing now.
They give you the attention. They really and they support you so well. You get used to it.
Okay.
You don't imagine them leaving. Until you screw up and you watch them go.
Okay.
That's when you grow. Men are humbled, and not using men, even women are also included them, but I'm telling you how men we are coming from the philosophy of so many men are polygamous. Me, I've chosen one family. At least I'm special. I'm monogamous. I come home. Many men are cheating. Me, I don't cheat. And you know, we come from this narrative of men have all the freedom to philander. The narrative of the world tells the man is superior because they were marrying subdued women who did not have options. They needed him to have a name and have a life. But the virtuous woman has options. She's not the woman society is talking about. The virtuous woman is used to living by herself. She's not comparing you with other men. Even if you part ways, she will not go back to her parents. She has her own life. She's capable of existing. So that girl who had no option to be with you or go back to her parents is no longer existing. When you marry a virtuous woman today, you're marrying a companion who requires a certain standard. What you agreed on from the beginning. Total loyalty, total support, truthfulness, honesty. They expect emotional availability, consistency. For example, coming home early is not negotiable. Our grandfathers came home whenever they wanted. They're king, they're just demigods. As long as they're buying food, don't ask them anything. Today, Mwikali doesn't need all that. She's at peace with herself. If we cannot have the social hour with us, with our children, with our family, what's the point? That's not the deal I want. So today we negotiate a deal. When you start violating the deal, society says, what's wrong with that woman? We'll give you another one. You know very well you can't replace a woman who supports you that much. So that's what the men don't quite understand. Either before, on the brink of divorce, that's when they wake up to themselves, or on the brink of even actually second marriage. But today we are talking about even when you have been thrust down by circumstances outside of yourself. Disease, health, things that you did not foresee. The chance, the ability to rise up and still be excited, still get back your enthusiasm, because many of us can survive, but then we stiffen, we harden, we close, we become, we mute, we don't talk loudly, we walk in a whisper, we stay on the corner, we avoid problems, we ask for little, just as long as I'm okay, it's okay, I have been to bad places, this one is okay. I'm just saying, if you can bounce back and get back your life. That's what we're discussing today.
Absolutely. Let's give him a round of applause. Oh, and that definitely opens up to the conversation and to have us invite our guests here today. We're talking about, you know, having it all, losing it all, getting into a space of depression, but being able to rise up again and have a full, fun, complete life. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Christine and Peter. Welcome back to the Elevate Show. How you doing? We have a question for you today, and the question we're asking you is, do you think you can love again after being broken? Do you think you can love again after being broken? It's NTV Kenya on all our social media platforms today. The conversation is around healing in the silence, love after loss, and the power of starting over. And just before the break, I told you we have an amazing couple with us today. We have Peter and Christine. Karibuni sana.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And I will give you this opportunity now to do the thing where whoever introduces who does the thing, the names you call each other, you know, that thing. Karibuni.
Thank you so much for having us. My name is Peter Mwaura. My profession is graphic design. I'm a father, I'm a son, I'm a husband, and I'm a self-published author of this book titled Peace at Last, detailing the journey that I've been through in life and the having to find peace at last after all the pain and all the brokenness. And here with me is my beautiful wife, Christine. We have a very powerful story to tell about what we've been through. Please introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Christine Obura, wife to Peter Mwaura. I'm a mother to two lovely boys. I'm a wife to Peter, of course. I'm a sister, I'm a daughter. I'm also an author. I write. Peter is a graphic designer. I'm an author. So it's the perfect combination. It's the perfect match for us.
Okay.
So we are really glad to be here, and we hope our story encourages, inspires, and just uplifts everybody who watches us today.
Great.
Thank you.
And Christine has been following our show. So she DM'd and she was just like, Mukali, you need to hear this, you need to hear this. And I'm happy that we've walked the journey and that you're here today.
Yeah.
And we keep talking about this story being a story of loss. You know, there's a bit of grief, there's a bit of mental health, there's depression, there's a lot of things. But I'm happy that peace at last is where it's at. But how did the two of you meet, and what was the story before that? Because Peter, I know you had a story before that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There's that story, as you as you rightly put it.
Yeah.
Story of loss. You know, it started well. You know how you plan about life, and then things just go crazy, where you have no control, and then loss comes in, and then now as I was trying to go about life, figuring out what to do, socializing and being at a party, a friend's party, that's when she happened to come.
Can we talk about that? Because when you talk about loss, maybe you can just explain what that was, you know, what you had gone through, what you were coming from, and, you know, the journey of that briefly. And by the time we get to meet her, how long had it been? Because I know the story, but it would be better if, you know.
Okay. So I met this lady. We settled down after a short time. Then shortly after, we were blessed with a daughter. And then life began. In the beginning, it was quite nice and smooth because 2 weeks after she was born, we realized she had a heart condition. And it was a time of pain and trying to heal. But, you know, a procedure was done and it came out successful. And then she was to undergo another test or another check so many years later, which again was successful. So through that time, things were okay. But then trouble started. I used to have a high-stress job where I was away all the time. So, you know, as a man, you focus on the things that you need to do to provide for the family.
Yes.
And then you assume things are running.
I like how you're looking at Zulu when you're looking at us. You know how as a man.
Man.
I see that.
So I was engaged in my work, doing my best, and then in the process, of course, with that, my boss recognized, and I was going up the ladder with more responsibilities. But then things were slowly crumbling on the other side. I don't know, maybe someone felt that I was neglecting them as I provided. So things totally got out of control. Then it became toxic, and there was a lot of things happening. So it went on to a point where now it became very abusive. And the more it happened, the more I engaged myself in more in work. Yeah. So I'm succeeding on this side, and things are falling apart on the other side. So it went on, it got from verbal to physical, because now we got physical.
Yeah.
The kids are growing. My daughter is growing. She's witnessing exactly what is happening. Again, very traumatizing. And then over time, I didn't know all this was taking a toll on me. You see, there's a pressure of work, late hours, and I'm going home. There's no peace. So the more that happened, the more I hid myself in the work. Between work and home, of course, I'll take a detour and meet
one
friends.
For the road.
Many for the road.
Oh, many for the road.
Especially on Fridays, because at least I know I have the weekend to get away from everything.
Yeah.
So again, that took a toll on me, because now mentally you're not stable. But over time, things became so bad. We tried to involve our friends, our parents, and it didn't work out.
Okay.
So it was totally broken. So after some time, we thought, let's have the second child, because I've had through people that once you get to that point, maybe things change.
Okay.
But it got worse. It got worse. So that's where things started breaking down, and emotionally, as a man, you assume you are strong and you're holding on, but inside you are broken. You are breaking up. At that point, I didn't know that I was depressed. I didn't know. So after so many years, and now things go to a point where now nothing was working. So I started losing sleep. I couldn't sleep. I lost interest in everything. I didn't want to work. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to socialize, but I was drinking a lot.
Okay.
So it got to a point where now, one day I just woke up and I didn't feel like going to work. That's when I went and I gave in my resignation. Let me tell you, I had a good job, well paying. I'd risen up the ladder and I was doing very well. But because of the pressure at home, it totally, broke me up.
Okay.
So I resigned. I didn't know what to do, but I just needed to be alone, to be in a space where I'm just there. At that time, I decided, let me just hang around and go around and meet friends. And then something that happened is, like Zulu said, that's when you realize, the circle that you had, that's when, I don't know how they get to know that you're no longer working. Yeah. They are never part of your life. They don't call you. The time you go out to meet them where you normally meet them, they get so busy. They find ways of getting away from you. Yeah. So you see, now you become isolated. So you are alone, you are isolated, and then there you are. Now over time, I realized, you see, now I'm not working. It's a few months down the road. Bills are piling. That's when now people start calling you to remind you, you had a loan. You're taken a loan.
Yes.
As you're working.
Yeah.
The banks call, the guarantors call, because the SACCO is after them. So again, it hit me that now I need to go back to work to make things continue working. Because the kids are in school, they've grown. And then I have all these bills, medical bills and upkeep and everything. And just to go back a little bit, after this, the separation, you see there's a lot of bitterness that comes with everything. Mm. So what happened now from the other side, I think they felt the only way to really hurt me, because at that moment it's about hurting each other, is to withhold the kids. So you can imagine all that loss. The kids are withheld from you. I could only see them 3 times a year. Oh. 3 times a year. Whoa. And that's when schools are about to open, when they need
Money to go back to
go
school.
back to school and shopping and all that.
Yeah.
It was quite tough because there's no communication. They don't have a phone. They don't have access. I tried going to the various departments that can help.
Children courts.
But of course they
welfare.
don't.
Okay.
Of course they don't. Yeah, it didn't work for me. So went through all that, but I kept on supporting the kids. I paid for their school fees, which I've done until today. And I went on. So when things now, the pressure came from everywhere that, bills and I need to, you need finances to move.
Yeah.
That's when I decided, now let me look for another job.
Yeah.
And because of the way I worked in the industry, so it was easy for me to get connections and even recommendations.
Yeah.
So I managed to get a job in another institution. I started down, but within a year or two, I was actually at a point where now things were again very good. And I was able now to keep track of the loans, the repayments and all that.
Yeah.
But then now at that point, now that's when depression really hit me. In the previous job, I always used to feel unwell. I was sick. I couldn't sleep and all that. And then body aches and all that. I didn't know it was depression. But at this point, that's when now I realized there's something wrong. And then I was also getting very emotional because of all these hurt. Now that's when as a man, even as hard as we are, there's a point that comes and you just find yourself breaking down, because of small things. But the good thing is that even with all this struggle, I never developed any feeling of, suicide and those kind of things. I still had this resolve even with all the things that were happening.
Yeah.
So in the other job, the moment I realized there's something wrong, that's when I had a very good boss who noticed that there was something wrong with me. I would do a project and then after that, I was not bouncing back soon enough and strong enough. So we started chatting and then they had a very good support system. They recommended a counselor for me. I went and started seeing the counselor. Then things were not still working out. They would even recommend flex hours. They would allow me to work a few days.
Okay.
They worked with me and I really, really thank them for what they did. Then at the same time, I managed to see a psychiatrist who now evaluated me now after we had a talk. And I was diagnosed as clinically depressed.
Okay.
So that was, that's exactly what was affecting me.
Yeah.
But now in that job, at some point I had to just resign and because I needed time to heal because I was badly off. Body aches, my memory was gone. I could not remember things. I could not even, make sense of an email just to understand the instructions of a project.
Yeah.
So I resigned. Now, at that point, after being diagnosed as clinically depressed, I was put on antidepressants. So it takes some time to work, but after it works, now I had some peace, I was able to sleep. Now because of that, I had to quit alcohol.
Yeah.
And that's where it came to an end. I think it was a miracle in the midst of all that challenge. And then, so before I go to that point of being diagnosed, and that's when we met.
Ooh,
that is
enters the beautiful
yes.
Christine. Yes.
But that was a year after the separation.
Aha.
It didn't happen immediately.
Okay.
Because after the journey that I'd been through in the first marriage, and everything had died over the years, which was a period of over 10 years.
Okay.
So after everything, all my emotions were dead. But I knew that I needed to start afresh.
Oh, wow.
And I think that's what kept me going. That's why I didn't go down.
Yeah.
So in the process of my brokenness and trying to struggle with depression and taking the antidepressants and the slow process of healing.
Yeah.
Now that's when we met.
Enters. Christine, how are you?
Christine,
I'm fine.
You are well?
I am.
The whole time Christine is just looking at you like this as you tell the story.
It's like I'm listening
for the first time.
Always.
How was it when you first met him? Were you looking? What was happening in your life at that point? Clearly his life was happening. A lot of things were going on. But where were you at?
Okay, for me, I was young in my 20s. I was actually 25.
Yeah.
I was working. Everything was working for me at that point. And I wasn't looking to settle then, but I knew who I wanted to settle with.
Aha.
Yes. So, like he said, he used to go out a lot. So when we met, we were at a friend's party.
Okay.
She was my friend, but a relative of his. Yes. So I was invited because I was young. Party. Yeah, I didn't have anything else to do on that Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
So I went, and it was a group of people, but I saw him. And when we left, I told my friend, who was the guy with the glasses?
Was that?
And he was so quiet. And she told me, well, that's my husband's cousin. And I was like, okay, he was looking really nice. And so when she came to work the next day, I asked her again, so how is he? So she told me that he was married, and he had gone through divorce. And she asked me, like, you're so young. Do you really want to go
that direction?
Yeah, this man was married. He has children. Do you really want to go that way? So after a while, my number was shared.
Ooh.
Yes. Apparently, I wasn't the only one who saw.
Bluetooth connected.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I saw and I was seen.
Okay.
Yes, and my number was shared, and after a while, Peter called me. No, he didn't call. He sent a text.
Yeah.
This is Peter. We met at this place, and okay, I remembered, and then that's how we started. We went on a couple of dates, and I found him to be very interesting. Despite all the chaos, because he told me everything the first day we met.
Whoa.
Yes, we spoke like for hours, because we met in the afternoon, and by the time I was going home, it was dark. So he told me everything about the separation, about the struggles, and how much he loves his children. Like, that's what I picked. And also he was taking care of them. So to me, that translated to a responsible man, because it's not easy to find someone that will take care of the children, despite, this person is withholding them. He doesn't want, she didn't want him to see them, but he was still stepping up as the father. So to me, that one was so encouraging. And it wasn't hard not to like him. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. How many years later? He's a nice guy with a blush. How many years later? How long have you two been together now?
Next month will be 11.
11 years.
Yes, 11 years later.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So you're coming in, and before I think I ask this question, Zulu, do you have something to pop to just because I felt like maybe even before Christy Christy, I'm going to back to Chrissy. Before Christine came back in to just tell us her story, I just felt like there was something about men, and maybe you would want to just point out on the struggles they go through, probably in silence, with society looking at them, to still provide, even if you're being dealt a very unfair card with the people that you love.
And I think I had told you many of us will love right the second time.
Yeah.
There's something he mentioned about the first marriage, which he has not mentioned about this one. Yeah. Because he said we settled after a short time. Did I hear correctly?
Yes.
The first marriage. Yes. After what?
A short time. Yes.
Bad foundation. I told you the first marriage, we are presumptuous.
Yeah.
We feel the chemistry, feel the connection, we are grown-ups, we know what we want. Nobody should bother us, it's about me and you, no care about them. What are these dating coaches? We are grown-ups,
Yeah.
Many of us, we have a lot of presumptions. So what he did is what many of us do. He is a gentleman at heart, he cares, he's honest.
Yes.
The men who cannot hurt a fly, they genuinely care, and they're embarrassed that this world says men should be tough, men should be narcissists, men should be manipulators. But you can't play those games. Ask Peter, he can't play those, even if he tries. Yeah. He cannot punish children for the wicked woman he's trying to separate them. He is torn like the heart of God, where he said in Jeremiah, is Ephraim my dear child? Is he a beloved child? For as long as he continues to misbehave, it's too long for him. The heart of God looks like this. Even when it's so difficult, you still love. You cannot stop from loving when you're a gentleman, when you're a good-hearted man. So they punish you with a love. They know you will show up. If they withhold what you love, that child who had struggles, Mukali, let me tell you, children are all important. But the child you get when you are wrestling for their life, we call them a precious child. That's the medical term. When you conceive or you are struggling from early, they call it precious child.
Yeah.
Their life, you wrestled them back to life. You see, that child, he has two, but that child, confirm if I'm right, Peter. That particular one, you have to do surgeries and confirm again and watch them suffer and hold them and wake up at night and wash them. And that child you struggled with to prop them up to life, they mean something different to you. That experience bonds you and them. You know, the neurons that fire together, wire together. You bond with that child as if you met at war.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know how soon before the children become 18 and above, but the two of them will always have a relationship. Tell them, I was in the surgery with you. You nearly didn't make it. You are a living story that there is hope. He will tell that child, you can't give up. You can't be discouraged. You are not a quitter. The children we get at peace, we celebrate so much because there is rest. But the children we get at war, we celebrate so much because we nearly lost it. The punishing is love. Though all the men who are like my brother Peter here, and you cannot not love. You just don't know how not to. You know? Be careful that you don't think the other woman is like you. Men have one problem. When they fall in love, they don't study the woman. They talk to her. And the woman, when they fall in love, they analyze you. And they listen until they know how you breathe. You can just be seated and she knows you're not okay. The way you're breathing. Because after they love, they learn you.
Yes.
When men love, they tell you the life, the vision they have, where they want to take you, what they're planning, what they're willing to do. So when we love, we preach, we talk, we you know. It's very hard for men to set tests for the woman they've loved. They tend to project the image of the ideal on her. When you love, even if you are sincere and honest, not everybody is sincere and honest. Learn sometimes to meet for the date and let the woman talk. Learn to be on call and just let her go on. Collect data. Listen, because it's the psychology of the woman that will make or break you. Not your love for her. It's not her curviness. It's not her beauty. It's not how charming and how she's... Because difficult women, they usually look like hard nut to crack. And they make men fall harder in love. Or the gentlemen like Peter, remember before you commit, before you sleep with that woman, because they usually trap you with child sex, cohabiting. Because they know if you take them through the process of premarital counseling, you appear them before with your friends and the family, people will see. Women who are not honest don't want process. They want to bribe you here before we go to the people. If a man withholds sex, you realize most men have nothing to offer you. They don't have a heart like yours. They don't have empathy like yours. That's the mistake he made. That's what I was saying. Most gentlemen don't know. It's not the woman because you've been told you can always get a woman and culture her, teach her what you want. No, you cannot change a woman by her essence. Her core beliefs about life are stubborn. That's her software. You can't change that. Study her core beliefs, her psychology, her opinions, her philosophy. What she keeps saying, the words she uses. That thing is so expensive. Oh, the husband has so much money. Oh my God. They went to Dubai. They're living so expensive. Dubai, money. Materialism. You know. Always listen to the philosophy. That's what is going to make or break you.
Absolutely. And so you step into this. You two have liked each other. And we want to actively start dating, be in each other's lives. He's coming from a past, and I don't know if you have conflict at that point with where he's coming from, the family, you're from different tribes. There's an age difference as well. There's 17 years. 17 years age gap. How was that now dealing with the people from your side, people from his side, and your friends as well? How was that for you, Christine?
It was difficult. There was a conflict, obviously, because people were wondering, you are young, you're beautiful, like you can date any other guy other than that guy that has a past, you know. And I knew what I wanted. For me, Peter had portrayed that responsible person, and that's what I wanted. Of course, from the family side, I had a family member saying, oh, yani uliona tu Mkikuyu. Because me, I'm Luo, yes. And I think because I've grown up at a different time. I grew up with Kikuyus and Luos and everybody. For me, that one wasn't really an issue. It was to others, but it was my decision to make at the end of it all. I also had a friend saying, you know, he left his first wife. How sure are you that he won't leave you too? And one night I sat with myself and asked, like, really, Christine, this man has 2 children. Will you manage? Will you be able to do it? And I'm a firstborn, so nurturing is natural for me. And I weighed all my options. One night we were talking and he was like, if I pass all these 9 and it's this one thing that doesn't fill the 10, would you just leave me because of this one, and then there's all these 9 that have passed? Would you leave me and allow me to fail because of one thing? And he made sense. Like I overlooked that one thing, which was he was married before and with children. The age gap wasn't really an issue. That one we can work around. I think of myself as a person who adapts easily. I'm an empath. I knew I would adapt. And when he was telling me his story, by the way, the thing that sold me was that I felt his pain. I felt his pain. I understood. I really tried to understand, like, oh, he went through that. Okay, maybe I can be that ray of sunshine in his life and help him through. I was even scared because I had read an article earlier that men, when they reach 40, they hit midlife crisis. he was there. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, is it midlife?
That article could be telling the truth.
Yes, it's. And I asked him, like, are you sure, like, you won't go back? And he told me yes. So I consulted, I called an aunt. She was really close to me. She was like a sister. And I told her I met this person and he's this old, and I want you to meet him and tell me what you think. And I told him also, I want you to meet my auntie, and he was up for it. So we met, my auntie liked him, and she told me, you know, I can't give you advice because I'm not married. Go to my grandmother, go and ask her. Because she had a similar situation like mine. So I traveled to Luo Nyanza, and I went and I told my grandma, and she listened, and she told me, if he's a nice person, then all those things shouldn't matter. Because if it's age, well, I lived with your grandfather for many years, and we had a really big age difference. So if it's age, it will work out. For her also, the Kikuyu part was, but she really didn't push me. She told me the decision was mine. If he's a nice person, then go for it. And I did. I went for it. Yes, and we continued, we dated, and we started living together. We eventually got married. We have 2 boys who we love so much. And he has the older children as well. They are all our children, and we love them. So we've just found, and I particularly found a way to balance it all. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. This book, Nyalini Kitabu, when was it authored?
This year in March.
Okay.
Yeah. So
it was authored after Christian.
Yes, after Christian. Yes.
I'm the peace at last.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I decided to write this book because I think what made me heal quicker is that I found myself sharing my story a lot with anyone who could listen. So I would talk to anyone who would listen, and just to encourage them, and it also helps someone so that you don't have to go through and make the same mistakes that I did. So over time, people would tell me, why don't you put it in a book? So not the first time, second time, third time. So I said, let's do it. And because Christine has a passion, she's very good at writing. So she's the one who put everything together because she knows the story. So I did self-publishing, and the first thing we did, we put it up on Amazon. So as an ebook and also paperback. So we actually intended it for out there, because we wanted to get a wider audience. And surprisingly, it's been purchased in the US, Sweden, Australia,
Nice.
you know,
Okay.
everywhere, Germany.
Yeah.
But then now, when we started sharing with our friends around locally, they wanted a hard copy. So that's now when the time we decided to print it out.
Okay.
And it's doing well, it's being received well. And what really touches my heart is what it does to people. This Peace at Last, because it's meant to give hope to people. And the people who've read it, when they come back to me and tell me, this gave me hope.
Yeah.
I've had stories of people who are almost where I was, and they managed to get it in the nick of time.
Yeah.
They will come and tell me, this book did something to me. And others would say it really encouraged me, gave me hope. And then it's meant for everyone, those who are not in marriage, because there's also something, you get to understand the things that can happen.
Yeah.
Those who are already in marriage, and also those who are going through this kind of a problem.
Great.
So it's for everyone.
Okay.
And also to show people that even when it comes to inter-community, tribal, doesn't matter whether
Relationships, yeah.
yes, whether you're from the same tribe,
Or not.
even with the age gap, there's someone out there for you.
Did it
And
bother you? Did you have any sentiments from people around you about dating someone that young at that time?
And not really.
Okay.
Not really.
Well,
Yeah.
it works the other way.
Something
Then,
about
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
something about the age. I was about to ask whether she was a firstborn, because firstborns tend to marry people
I just smiled at it.
10 years older and
Yes.
above. I'm sure you've picked it.
Yes, I did.
Because actually, firstborn daughters are not checked. They will easily marry if they are father figures. Because being a first child, they converse so closely with the parents. They get used to mature conversations. And they get bored by their age mate and their pettiness.
Yeah.
And how we can't converse. And you look arrogant when they keep asking about where is the next party. And she wants serious dialogue.
Yeah.
And she hangs around them and she's, is there something serious going to happen here? Let me go home. So, if a firstborn daughter, have that negotiation so that you don't marry a person and you are bored. You start talking more with his father than with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have that in mind. I don't suggest going as far as they went.
Yeah.
This is a risk. They just happen to be good people, both of them.
Yes.
When it's more than 10 years difference, you tend to have a parent-daughter dynamic than partner dynamic. Peter's a gentle person who allows her to contribute.
Yeah.
No more men won't allow a person that young to have a say.
Yeah.
Unaniambia nini? We hata
Haujaishi.
siketi hapo nikwambie. That's the, but when you find a person who you are, because she was deliberate, she thought, she did a lot of consulting. That is the most prudent thing you can do. And also for Peter, that men are not asked anything when they date younger girls, because they usually have side chicks over here. It's a cultural narrative.
Yeah.
So, but for men, what I encourage is you want a companion, not just a person who is beautiful over there like a trophy. You want somebody to think, because now she has helped you put together a book.
Yes.
This is real partnership.
Yes,
This
this is forever.
And she's still listening to the story as if it's not, and she put it in a book. This is real love. When it's love, it's always wow.
Yeah.
And say that again.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for Mikali's story. Sorry,
Okay,
I
we're
digress.
going to take a short break now. We are going to take a very short commercial break on that very note. Thank you, Zulu. We will be right back. Don't go too far. This is The Elevate Show. Welcome back to The Elevate Show. The question we're asking you today is, do you think you can date again after being broken? Do you think you can date again after being broken? And it's tied into the conversation that we're having today about healing in the silence, love after loss, and the power of starting over. We have Peter and Christine, and the floor is open to our amazing audience to ask questions, comments, compliments, anything. We can start with Mcheshi. Sasa tunajua majina sasa hata.
Kweli.
Yes.
Mrembo Mcheshi Kananu Catherine. And Peter and Christine, your story has really touched me. You're such an inspiration. I know there are some people out there who have gone through tough things, and when you share that, they get something and they get encouraged. Now, Peter, that time when you were going through hard times after now the first marriage, how are your feelings like before you met Christine? Were the feelings that you had then, did it affect your relationship with her later on? Like, how was it? Was there the same chemistry? Like, there's a time when someone feels it's like zimeisha, like I no longer feel like I can love. Those feelings are no longer there. So I don't know how it was with you when you met her. Maybe you'll tell us about that. And then Zulu, there is this period between you have reached the end and you are saying it's over now, but later on now you feel like you wanna be with someone once again. There is that period. Sometimes, as I have said, you feel like I will never ever love again. I will never look. Every man, I will look at that man as a lady. Everyone is a lady. Like there's that thing, that feeling inside that you feel. So maybe you can shed us more light. You can encourage us. You can advise us on that period between the brokenness and now, the time now you feel like you want now to go to another person.
Okay, we'll start with Peter.
What I can say, yes, at that moment, everything was gone. The feelings were gone, from the other side. So at the point at which we met, I was struggling with everything, but deep down I knew I needed to move on. So at that point, the fact that we sat down and we spoke about everything and laid it all on the table. So there are even some things that I was telling her that these I cannot take, these I cannot take. So we came together at a point of understanding. And then now, as we progressed, now love started building up, slowly by slowly. Yeah.
And Catherine, Christine became Peter's therapist. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
They talked for hours, him pouring out because he never poured out to a counselor. And she was an empath willing to be the healer. She said, ray of light. You see, some people are therapists by nature. They're not trained. And then they cure you with love.
Yeah.
This is a peculiar story where actually you hold a person who was in a bad place, you see what they can become, and you go on to become that with them. What I encourage for us is, don't bring those bleeding wounds to dating, because you may meet another type of humans called narcissists who prey on vulnerable people. They can act perfectly like what you need. They'll never hurt you. How could people do that to you or defend you? Then you marry them. You commit. You live together. Something like that. Then they'll go on to finish you off.
Yeah.
What I encourage is therapy. Can we normalize the interval between I was hurt and I'm trying to move on? Let's go to counselors. Let's consume self-healing content. This man has healed so much. The therapist has so much succeeded that there's even a book. But this was better done in a professional space, so that as he shares, he's sharing from a place of, yes, it's not bleeding, it's sharing for how you have overcome. How to know whether a person has healed enough for you to risk your heart with them, because sometimes if you marry a person who's still bleeding, they have everywhere is sensitive. Don't say that. I used to hear that word a lot. Why did you trigger me with that? When you say that, I keep quiet. You remind them of everything you say reminds them of another thing, and they react and they go quiet and they scream or they cry, they break down. You don't want that. So how to test is, does a person have a story of being hurt, then a story of healing? Healing is hard work because it's like surgery. Means you go open the wound again, look at it, offload, release the anger. So make sure the person, you can even direct them to counselor and move on. Be the good Samaritan. You have a journey to go, but you don't stay there with a hurting person. You commit them to healers and you move on, okay? So to say, always make sure you can hear the story of healing, not just the story of how they let me down, broke me. What have you done with it? Did you just sit there?
Yes, absolutely. Did you get counseling afterwards, both of you individually?
I used to go through counseling,
Okay.
but that was for me because of what I was going through. But let me say this, I get your point. But for us, I would say it's the grace of God.
Yeah.
It's taken God. That's why we're here. We are here,
Yeah.
even having not gone through that process.
Okay, great. We had another question, comments.
Peter and Christine, you are an encouragement to the society and more so to the young youths out here who are looking for love, because in this generation of ours, most of us, you fall in love, ile character development unapigwa pale. You just come back, you sit, you're like, I don't think I'm supposed to go back to it.
Yes.
And when you go back,
Yeah.
maybe you'll go there, you have learned, you know what you want, and you are ready. Unakuwa uko na ile uko na second option. You're not there like, you are my option, come rain, come sunshine. But after listening to you people, there's one thing that I've learned.
Yeah.
One thing, Christine, you overlooked the tribal thing. And
Yes.
that's one thing that most families break. Because most people, they dwell on tribal thing. That, oh, you can't marry a Luo person or a Kamba or a Kyuk. Because, oh, in our marriage, in our culture, there's this and this and these things that are forbidden. No. That was a good thing to you. Also to Peter, when it comes to fake friends or whatever friends were saying about you, or even they sidelined you at some point. You didn't give up, you went for what you wanted, and right now you have someone who you can look up to during your good times and even in your low times. Thank you so much, and we look forward to have a copy of that so that we can learn more.
Thank you.
And we can to
Yes.
rejoinder on that.
Yes.
I like the way Peter attributes faith
Yes.
to their healing.
Yes.
Unless Christians misuse his quote that it's God who has taken us. Let me quote the Bible. Jeremiah 8:20.
Yes.
To be precise. I will not quote the 3 for time, but it says, are there no herbs in Gilead? Are there no physicians there? Why then is the wound of the daughter of my people not healed? The same God expects you to also make use of physicians and herbs, psychologists. It's not anti your faith. You're not losing faith when you go to a counselor. You are not giving up on your God when you go to discuss and pour out issues. You can still incorporate faith and healing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Any more before we close?
Okay,
Yes.
one more thing. I
Yes.
have a question to Benjamin.
Yes.
There is 2 things that I've noted during the story of Peter and Christine. First, how long should it take for one to get into marriage? Because most people, they rush into marriages, and afterwards it doesn't take long. They end up breaking up. Secondly, after how long should you get back to another relationship after a breakup for you to be fully healed and ready to move on?
What's your name?
Anne Rogan.
The right question to ask is not how long, is how much healing. All right? Time itself does not heal. It's what you do with the time. He had healed. That marriage died when he was inside. So he cried all the tears. By the time he crawled out, there was nothing. You know, some people don't cry after leaving because they cried when they were inside. So it's how much time would you empirically invest in your healing and accepting the situation and rechanging your view to the next stage? So work on your healing. If it takes a year, okay. It's like an accident. You can't tell how much injury to take. Just make sure you are healed enough you can walk.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I love that. And as we come to the end of the show, thank you so much for sharing your questions and your comments as well. How can people get this book?
This book is available at Nuria Bookstore. That's in Bazaar building, first floor. Yeah.
Okay.
And on Amazon.
And also on Amazon worldwide.
And what would be your final message to anyone who's hurting? And I think Christine will give us your parting shot before Zulu gives us his parting shot as well.
Okay, I would say it doesn't matter where you are in life. It doesn't matter what's going on in your life. Please know that tomorrow will be better than today. And you'll find your peace at last.
Thank you. Christine?
For me, I'll leave it at a poem. I'm a writer, so I write poems a lot. So I'll say this. If all else should wither and die, may the streams of hope never run dry. Let hope flow freely within to the roots of the soul tucked in deep. Because if hope dies, nothing ever lived. So don't give up. Don't give up. Whatever dream you have, whatever you are going through, just don't give up. Don't let hope die.
Absolutely.
There will be many people who will write you off too soon.
Okay.
Just don't be one of them. There will be many people who don't believe in you. Just don't be one of them. Yes.
Oh my God, that's a powerful way to end this show. Thank you so much, Christine. Thank you so much, Peter, my amazing audience as well. If you're watching from home, thank you for always being a part of this show. We love to hear from you. So it's NTV Kenya on all our social media platforms. So if you're going to do bad things to you, if people are going to do bad things to you, let it not be you. So be your #1 champion. Love you guys, but I gotta leave you. Adios.